Well, our young altar server tonight, his name is Michael. Michael, did you hear your namesake in that first reading from Daniel? Yeah. I told Michael before Mass that Michael means he who is like God. And you like that idea, don't you? Yeah, Michael, we hear in that book of Daniel, this is one of the earliest times in the Jewish faith there is talk of life beyond the grave. Now, as many of you know, I was very much involved with the shooting that took place down at the synagogue dealing with the FBI and the aftermath of that event. In fact, this Thursday we had a major debriefing with all the first responders, the FBI, and all of the agencies. And when you go to a Jewish funeral, how many of you have been to a Jewish funeral? A few of you. There isn't a lot of talk about resurrection. There's a lot of talk about mourning, loss, certainly trust in God. But we as Christians become very comfortable, almost numb, to our faith about the resurrection. Now, Michael, I'll tell you about another little Michael I know. He was at the Ash Wednesday Mass. Do you remember Ash Wednesday Mass, when the ashes go on your head? And it was the first time he really paid attention to what the priest was saying. And as he came up, Father put the ashes on his head and he said, "Remember that you are dust, and to dust you shall return." Later that evening, he was in his bedroom, and he was playing around, and his toy went under his bed. So he goes under the bed to get it, and he screams, and his mother says, "What's wrong?" And he comes running up the stairs. She comes into the room, and he says, Mommy, there's somebody under my bed, and I don't know if he's coming or going." That's so much of our life. We don't know if we're coming or going. We're dust. We are dust. And everything we become so obsessed about will come to dust. Isn't that true? God gives us something that lasts forever. That is our soul. Now, I have to tell you, I'm very impressed with the people of Lawrence County, because you live forever. I mean, really. I have never met more people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, and beyond. I was just at a 90th birthday party. I mean, there must be something in the water here. But really, the goal is to live beyond our body. The sad thing is, we get a little too obsessed with the material, and we easily and quickly forget about the spiritual. Now you notice, we're coming to the end of the liturgical year, and we will hear a great deal about the end of the world, because the world as we know it will indeed someday pass away. I was at the bedside of a dear, dear friend of mine, was a priest, Father Donatelli, night before he died. He had been a priest for 40 years. And he was suffering terribly from cancer, of great pain. I heard his confession. I anointed him. And then he asked me to pray that he would die that night. And I said, "Phil, you really want..." "Yeah, yes, it's time." And I felt bad for him. He was in such pain. But he said to me, "It went so fast. Life goes so fast. And as long as we have life, We have a purpose. We have a task. We have something to do. What are you doing with the time you have left? You know, we never know. I've just outlived my dad. He was 57. My mom was 73. Perhaps that's why I'm so impressed with so many of you. But no matter what our age, we have a reason to exist that goes beyond the grave. And yet, what gobbles up most of our time and energy? Things that will not last all that long. Cars, house, cash, careers, churches. It's always changing. How do we deal with that change? People get married and they want to have a home together, and they work real hard to build a nice house, raise the kids move out. Now they have a house that's too big. So they downsize. And that's all fine. Because it doesn't really matter. The roof over our head, as much as it does the love under that roof. What are you attached to in this life? We have Thanksgiving coming up this week. It's the best civil holiday of all. I always wonder, who do the atheists give thanks to? But what are you grateful for? How many blessings has God showered upon us? And He looks to see what we do with what we have. But a wise person knows that no matter what we have, it will all come to dust. And it's only how we've lived our life, it's only the love we've shared, the help we've given, the good we've done, that will live forever. And everything else, including this body of ours, will come to dust. But your soul and my soul, that is what lives forever. And that is what we need to cherish and exercise and strengthen, because that is what we will have. And that person we've become is who we will be for all eternity. And in some way, we determine our destination. Because we either choose God or we choose someone or something else. And the only one who lives forever is the one who clings to Christ. So what are you clinging to? What am I clinging to? I've had 7 beautiful dogs over my lifetime since I was in 3rd grade. Several Gordon setters, a black lab, coonhound, and now a golden doodle. I've gotten with the times. But none of those dogs lived more than 10 years. But I have wonderful memories with each one of them. They enriched my life and my family and my friends' lives. And there's one out in my Jeep right now. but it's only for a time. But you and I, we cling to Christ. In this Eucharist, His body and our body, His blood and our blood become one, and we have the promise that we will live forever. So what else is there? Who else is there to cling to? What else is there? Who else is there to die for? To sacrifice for? And to live for? We have some folks in our midst who are considering that very thing. They're looking at our Catholic faith, in spite of all the negativity and all the bad news and all the scandals. What an encouragement to all of us who sometimes take our faith for granted.